And Babylon comes, holds them in exile. There's absolutely no food. They flee, and that Zedekiah, he is captured, and they kill his children in front of him, and they take the rest of the people to Babylon. They burn the temple, they burn the city, they tear down the walls, and so it is over. It is just to really make sure that they knew that it was over. It was over.
Make sure they knew.
Yeah. And after all of that, so like if you're reading the story as a person in exile, and you're asking the question, how do we get here? There's this generation of being in exile, and the last words of the book of Second Kings are back to Jehoiakim. It says that the king of Babylon released him, put him at a seat at the king's table, took care of him, gave him a place of means and purpose and authority. So this entire book has been written to history, and now it fast forwards to the moment they were in exile, and when we thought it was all over, all of a sudden this line of David came, who it's amazing that they didn't just kill him on the spot.
You think they lost the why? Babylon lost the why?
Yeah.
Why do we have this guy in prison? I don't know. Let him
Yeah,
out.
that's funny. That's what, yeah.
Jehoiakim, son of Jehoiakim.
The miracle is that you go, how did we get here? After all of that, our king was released. And if you fast forward in the text, you get to Ezra, you get to Nehemiah. Even I love to think that the spiral all the way forward to the genealogies of Jesus. You just go, hey, the line of David is leading to the Messiah. And so, is it over? Is it over? And then the last words of the movie are, ooh, sequel's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, Jehoiakim will return. And he doesn't return.
We did a survey moment. Anything stand out from doing that? So this is a 22 moments where people would say it's over. An impasse or painful moments, and giving them a scale of 0 to 7, 0 meaning it was not that big of a deal, to 7 that brought you to the breaking point. So it's literally a list of 22 things that are, I would say, not the good. And so, I didn't have any 7s. I don't know what that means. It means I don't necessarily score honestly. I'm not sure.
I have 7.
I just had 1 7. I don't think I had any. I had 1 6.
Do you think how is your scoring different from things that you have experienced to things you haven't experienced?
I think the things you have experienced gives you context to the impact of them. Like a community in crisis, I think 6 or 7 years ago, I would have been like,
Exactly.
it's fine, whatever. And then you like experience what we have in Minneapolis in the last 5 years, and you go, okay, that was pretty disruptive. That was pretty not my favorite. So I think unfortunately, going through them gives you some perspective.
Yeah.
Well, one of the questions we're going to ask on Sunday is, how have hardships you faced shaped you or prepared you for life? And hopefully this survey is a tool just to have some of those remembering moments. But I think the question we've had in Second Kings is, how will you persist? And the last words of Second Kings is this glimmer of saying, hey, even when it feels like this is the worst, and I want to get out of this moment or this situation as soon as possible, or I'll implode, is that persist in having a glimmer of hope. Be looking for the hope. Be looking for the growth. Be looking for the bright side. Right side? Is that even? But that calling in Second Kings is, don't give up hope yet. It's like, how could we not? Our vassal king just had to watch his kids be killed before he was
Blinded.
killed. Well, that's right.
That was the last thing he saw.
Yeah. Oh, it's so. I forgot.
Pretty
about
sure his
that.
house quick
It's like
too.
bronze, like with a bronze something. Like I can't remember. That.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But and last week we were talking about the kind of the the rediscovery and everything, and that was and Josiah said,
Yep.
yeah, we need to get back to this, and it didn't rescue them from the from exile. But what it did is like the planes in a dive, and they were able to pull up enough that it was the impact wasn't as hard. It was still coming, but it mitigated that. And a lot of times there are things in our lives where that God will give us the ability to handle it before it happens, because He knows what's coming. We don't, and that Valerie talks about that with having his brain. She's like less than 2 years old, but she had this amazing season. In the words, she didn't know what's coming, but that's what really helped her through. Because you get the call saying, yeah, your kid has a brain tumor, and they're not even 2 years old yet.
Yeah.
That's nope.
Yeah.
She had this, God was preparing her for that.
We'll bring the Joseph,
Yeah.
like a zoomed out Joseph narrative to this. Joseph had like a high repetition of, well, this isn't going like I hoped. From being this the position of his ego and his favor of his dad were like a bad mix to bring to the relationship. But thinking about the moments when your brothers throw you in a pit and are planning to kill you, like that as a concept is complicated. But when that's happened to you, that's changed you.
Yeah.
Being sold into slavery, so from like favor to it's not you, not your own anymore. Your life is not your own. The rising to siege, but then being falsely accused and thrown into jail, to being able to interpret a dream and be helpful, and then being completely forgotten, and then being like interpret the dream for the king, and then he had the opportunity to lose his life, but again from that being able to be put in this high position to finally his brothers come back, and then a moment of like revenge or grace that impacts him. And so in all of this, it comes to the end of this narrative is that all of this happened. This is a strong retrospective perspective. So all this happened to get to this point where God can provide for our family. It was worth it to get here, the provision, the sustaining of our family. And when we face hardship, or when you have this moment like in 2 Kings, and they go, I'm not going to make it. But to have the zoomed out perspective, hope still remains so important. Rich?
Is that it?
I mean, I kind of ended with, the first thing I said was the thing that I was kind of ending with.
Said it too early.
Said it too early.
Oh, man.
But just the idea of the why.
Mm.
The why. The why is important. The kings had some fun. They didn't know the why. It wasn't actually fun. But if we have a why, and that why is scriptural, then we can go through that stuff. We can persist. That's all.
We'll see you next week for
Rinse.